Days after Charlie's assassination, the world he built is slowly collapsing, and the person dismantling it is the one he trusted most. Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow and the new CEO of Turning Point USA, is now facing accusations that she's using her husband's death for her own benefit. And for the first time, even Charlie's parents seem to have something to say without actually saying a word. Music. Erica's behavior since Charlie's passing is raising eyebrows. She's laughing, giving interviews, appearing on podcasts, and teasing unreleased content, almost as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Charlie's parents, Robert and Kimberly, have remained completely silent, no interviews, no statements, no public appearances. Nothing. For parents who just lost their son in a national tragedy, the contrast is striking. But their silence feels even stranger when you realize who they are. Robert Kirk wasn't just any father, he had direct ties to Donald Trump. Kimberly, Charlie's mother, is a licensed healthcare professional. And Charlie himself? He played a major role in helping Trump win. His body was transported on Air Force Two by the vice president, a level of honor that shows just how deeply connected he was. Yet despite all this, Charlie's parents haven't shown up publicly, not even to stand beside Erica, who insists she's carrying out Charlie's legacy exactly as he would have wanted. So where are Charlie's parents? And why does it seem like they're distancing themselves from Erica? Let's dig deeper.
We do have some breaking news now. Turning Point USA, headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, has just announced that Erica Kirk has been elected the new CEO and chair of their board. That organization has explained it this way on X. In prior discussions, Charlie expressed to multiple executives that this is what he wanted in the event of his death. When Erica addressed the nation after Charlie Kirk's death, she promised her husband's legacy would live on.
Charlie, I promise I will never let your legacy die, baby. I won't. I promise I'll make Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen.
Charlie's father, Robert Willard Kirk, wasn't just another name in the background, he was the chief architect behind one of New York's most iconic landmarks, Trump Tower. Multiple sources confirm that Robert enjoyed a close, respectful relationship with Donald Trump, who valued his sharp mind and architectural vision. Charlie's mother, Kimberly, built her life in professions that demand emotional intelligence, privacy, and discipline. She began her career as a trader at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, one of the city's biggest financial institutions, before later becoming a mental health service provider. Those who know the family say Kimberly was the grounding force, the steady hand that kept Charlie focused, driven, and relentlessly ambitious. By all accounts, Charlie didn't come from an ordinary household. His parents were high achievers who moved comfortably within elite circles. Which is why their complete disappearance from the public eye feels anything but accidental. And according to sources close to the family, their silence isn't empty, it's intentional. A message. And it speaks louder than anything Erica is doing in the spotlight.
Around the valley, hopefully you can show them to you, but tell me about what you're doing. Well, right now I'm really making a conscious effort to focus on our military. To me, they're one of the main reasons why I have the freedom of being Miss Arizona USA. And it's an honor to represent my state at its 100th birthday, but I'm making sure that I'm doing things in the community, getting out and helping people. I'm really active actually with my nonprofit called Everyday Heroes Like You. We're entering our 5th year, so I started it when I was 17, so I've been able to travel to the Pentagon, I've been able to meet General Salazar, who's actually out here in Arizona, and I've also been able to donate a Johnny's Locker to the Sojourner Center, which you're looking at right now. Wow. So there's been a lot of things that have been going on, from working in the military, to traveling, to just being able to get out there.
Let's go back to where everything began. On September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was shot during a debate session on the campus of Utah Valley College. Video shows him being rushed into an SUV and taken to Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem, where he was later pronounced dead. Just days later, on September 18, Erica Kirk stepped in as the new CEO of Turning Point USA, a $100 million powerhouse organization widely credited as a major force behind Donald Trump's election victory. Erica, a former beauty queen with military ties, shared 2 children with Charlie. But here's the twist. At no point during his career did Charlie publicly indicate that Erica was being groomed as his successor. There was no official plan, no announcement, nothing. Which is why many find it strange that Erica continues to insist she's doing all of this for Charlie, even though his sudden passing is what opened the door for her rise to power.
How have you gone from this? With the 21st of September, now 7 days later, we get this.
Nothing has changed. That one purpose we're not offered, we're not really community. We're not going to be tweeting applicants that toned up and really disturbing, and we want to jump up more of these.
Hey, we're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now, so just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting.
There is just something that just doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. It feels off. And I'm trying so hard not to over-speculate. It's hard when stuff like this has been put out to us. It's just not normal. It doesn't feel natural. I feel like we're watching a performance. It's almost like we're watching a movie unfold right in front of our eyes. It's things like this that make me think that Charlie Kirk's assassination is so much bigger than we could.
Less than 2 weeks after Charlie's death, Erica had already begun steering Turning Point USA in a completely new direction while abandoning any push for a real investigation into his assassination. This is despite the fact that just hours after Charlie was pronounced dead, #Utah cover-up started trending nationwide. Everyone could see this wasn't some random act of violence. The entire situation reeked of something deeper, something coordinated. But Erica, she didn't seem interested. Mentions of Charlie were minimal, almost like an afterthought. Instead, all the focus shifted to the future of the company and how Turning Point was going to operate under new leadership, her leadership. One TikTok calling out the whole situation went insanely viral, racking up millions of views and fueling even more suspicion about what was really going on.
They are trying to replace Usha Vance with Erica Kirk, because Erica Kirk and JD Vance is their Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. What is this? What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no. You don't. This is weird. Oh, and then there's this one. JD, why are your hands so low? There's no reason for them to be on her hips, but there they are. But if that's not enough, here's her introducing him at Turning Point.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD. Yes, I do.
And if you're not convinced yet that they're trying to replace her with Erica Kirk, this is him when asked by a student about him and his wife's difference in their religious beliefs, and he ends it with this.
So I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church. Yeah, I honestly endorse that because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
He wants her to fall in line. He wants her to be a Christian nationalist just like him. And if he can't convince her, he'll find a new one.
Love you, Erica. Love you, Erica.
The real twist becomes clear once you realize that Charlie's parents haven't shown up even once to support Erica or this sudden transition of power. Normally, the loss of a loved one pulls a family closer together. But for Erica, the opposite happened. Charlie's parents have quietly but unmistakably pulled away from her. At Charlie's funeral, they were visibly shattered, barely able to stand under the weight of their grief. Erica, however, seemed focused on something entirely different. While his parents mourned, she was busy lining up podcast appearances and media interviews. But the moment that truly stunned everyone came when Erica said this.
I'm uncomfortable with the fact, despite all the friends Charlie Kirk made, all the schmoozing that he did, presidents, right, department heads, I am the only person that is publicly demanding further investigation into his assassination. Why? So it's totally rubbing me the wrong way. Something's not right here. Even Turning Point USA, they're just like, we've accepted. Like, obviously, there are holes in this narrative, and they're just like, we're gonna just keep up his shit. What is going on? Actually, I'm just waiting for everybody to like join me. Where are Charlie's homies at? Why are you guys all silent? Something's not right. I know it's not right. Okay. We don't know now, but we know. You know? We don't know no, but we know. And soon we're gonna know now.
Fellow conservative commentator Candace Owens speaking out on her YouTube platform addressing her late friend.
But I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And I will never unsee the footage of what I saw.
Candace Owens, who previously worked with Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA, had her YouTube live stream freeze tonight because more than 115,000 viewers tuned in.
Hugging another man and saying, "You remind me of my husband," less than a month after Charlie's death is unsettling. No matter how you frame it, it's bizarre. And here's the blunt truth. Charlie was never going to hand over control of Turning Point USA. That simply wasn't who he was. Yet somehow, someone entirely new is now sitting at the top. Meanwhile, the investigation into Charlie's assassination has quietly faded into the background, almost as if it was never meant to continue in the first place.
Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever, and there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think, there is nothing they can't do to you, because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, free man, has a right to say what he believes. Not to hurt other people, but to express his view.
When parents stay completely silent after their child is murdered, it's never accidental. Silence is a choice. And Charlie's parents are making that choice loud and clear. They're distancing themselves from Erica and the direction she's taking Turning Point USA. Charlie also had siblings, yet they've been just as quiet. No public statements, no appearances, no meetings with Erica, not even a moment captured of them standing by her side in grief. Why is that?
Anybody know anything about Charlie Kirk's parents? I just saw a video about this, and it had literally never occurred to me that no one is talking about. We have not heard from or seen footage of anybody other than Erica and the freaking vice president and Usha anywhere involved in the situation. And every news outlet has the same like little snippets, and it's that his mother was a mental health care provider, and his father was an architect, and his father was involved in the building of and the design of Trump Tower in New York. I literally can't even find their names anywhere. They are not really listed. They're he has a younger sibling too, and they are just completely out of the picture. Which is insane. In a high profile moment like this, it is insane that the only person that we are hearing from or seeing involved in anything is his wife. And that gives you such a huge window into what that family dynamic is like. Obviously, I always sort of assumed he had no relationship with his mom because the hatred of women, it has to come from somewhere, and generally it would come from that place. And maybe that's the case, that none of them talk to him, but it's really strange that someone with 8 million followers that had his body transported on Air Force 2 just doesn't have a...
He knew that evil wins when good people stay silent. And so for the rest of my life, I will make sure that I don't stay silent. I'll keep speaking the truth, no matter the cost. No matter the cost. And I pray that all
you guys to know, Charlie is also used to dream very vividly. Because we traveled together so much, he would wake up, we would text, and he would tell me about those vivid dreams, and we talked about a lot of things, as you do when you get to know somebody. We talked about the spiritual realm, we talked about religion, our faith, most importantly, what our life's purpose was. And there was this period in April where Charlie kept insisting to me over and over again that he was going to die young. In fact, he told me that Turning Point USA was going to be the death of him. I'm going to show you some of those messages now, a particular set of messages that were written on April 6th, 2018, just a couple of weeks before Kanye tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks," which is relevant because a lot of things changed after that tweet. And it's relevant because Charlie sensed that something big was about to happen. And I think that is what the something big was. We were again talking about Kanye. Charlie wrote to me, "You're going to be the Iron Lady of America." He had such a political vision for me. I never wanted that sort of a thing. I see it so freaking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. LMAO. If that is the case, be my David. I said, dude, you haven't even realized your power yet. You're so young, is what I was thinking. He said, if I tell you the true prophecy that I know in my gut, it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong. He went on to say, anyway, I am not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the piece that God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing combo for another time, LMAO. I said, that's weird, more of a fear manifestation than an actualization. He said, I'm not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true. And he told me that. I don't know why. Charlie knew he was going to die young. And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to share that because it is in part why the moment that Charlie got shot, I just knew he was betrayed spiritually. In the same way that Charlie knew that he was going to die young, I knew that this was a part of something big.
Turning Point USA later confirmed that these messages were 100% real.
To address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there.
Charlie wasn't scared. If anything, he seemed ready, and so did the people closest to him. And now, Candace is saying what everyone else is too.
Not the Trump administration. I said a boulevard in Israel. Pretty clear. Not clear. What she said was, they, the Fed, give you a boulevard when that's a sure sign that they have killed you. You know that they have killed you. He was betrayed in the worst way possible, giving so much of his life to the Trump presidency, to politics. The federal government, the Trump administration killed Charlie Kirk is the claim. Now I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, what I think about it. Because you know who else would have to be involved? And this is the implication, of course, by design. And you can see the response with people out there saying, oh, well, then anyone who's close to, this is an inside job. You know who's really close to President Trump? And you know who people are now saying stood to gain? Well, Charlie's wife, Erica Kirk, who has now been put, Candace with that language, with this accusation, has put the wife of Charlie Kirk, and she'll say, that's not what I tried to do. It is. It's the result. Erica Kirk in the crosshairs. Not like you have to.
This is any guesses? This is the man who was the architect and the project manager behind the construction of Trump Tower in New York City in 1979. His name is Robert Willard Kirk, a very successful architect in his day. And he also just happens to be Charlie Kirk's father. Yes, so not only did Charlie Kirk's father help design and build a true eyesore in New York City, but he also helped create Charlie. who has not only just been an eyesore, but just agonizing to exist with as well. It's really just like must have been some kind of an omen, because some of the earliest protests and movements against Donald Trump began in the late 70s, early 80s, as New Yorkers were not happy about Trump Tower becoming part of their block. Like the fact that Charlie Kirk's father was being protested along with Trump for building Trump Tower, and now in present day, Charlie Kirk is also being protested, still with Donald Trump. Like, of course, Charlie Kirk has always adored Trump. He helped make their family even wealthier than they already were before Charlie even came into the world. A little interesting tidbit of information that I thought you should know, but I'm sure some of you already felt that, because at this point I feel we are able to snip.
It's not just Erica that Charlie's parents don't trust. According to Candace Owens, this conspiracy reaches all the way into the highest levels of government. Multiple independent investigators have already highlighted how the official story simply doesn't add up. For starters, no ballistics report and no autopsy were ever conducted. None. And according to several sources, this wasn't an oversight, this was because Erica herself allegedly requested that no autopsy be performed. That decision alone has raised more questions than answers.
You know the government is lying to us about what happened to Charlie. I went back and watched all of the news from September 10th. Let me tell you what I found. The timeline. The timeline is off. You know how I know it? After Charlie was assassinated, and they said Tyler ran off the building into the woods and put his gun back together and left it there on a towel. The FBI stated later that evening that the rifle that they found, this .30-06 rifle, was in fact the weapon that was used to assassinate Charlie Kirk. So the question is, how did they know that was the weapon that was used by Tyler? No ballistics had been done on the gun yet. No ballistics had been done on anything yet. No autopsy had been done yet, if there has one been done at all. Basically, all they did was they found a firearm in the woods and said this was the weapon that was used. That is freaking impossible. It's impossible. No different than when I was a cop. If we had a shooting on a Friday night and I was working on Sunday afternoon and somebody calls and says, hey, I found this gun on the side of the road, and I pick it up and go, oh my gosh, this was the gun that was used Friday night. There is no way to know that. It takes days or weeks for them to get this weapon and fire it and do ballistics on it.
At the same time, we're supposed to believe that a random 22-year-old shot Charlie and then confessed the very next day, even though the FBI hadn't come close to finding him. The story gets even stranger when reports surface that Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, left behind a confession note. But think about it, if Tyler planned to disappear, why would he leave a written confession? Why make it easier to link the crime back to himself? And here's another pattern investigators keep pointing to. Ever since Kash Patel took over, school shooters suddenly started carving messages onto bullets. Why now? Why all at once? And why does it match the exact timing of Charlie's assassination? None of it adds up.
Do you state your name? Tyler James Robinson.
This was Tyler Robinson's first court appearance since being arrested on suspicion of murdering political activist Charlie Kirk, fatally shot while speaking at a university campus in Utah a week ago.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
The 22-year-old appeared virtually from a special unit at Utah County Jail, wearing a vest designed to stop him from self-harming.
Caused the death.
Charlie Kirk was a hugely influential ally of Donald Trump, with a massive following online. Prosecutors allege Robinson confessed to killing him in a hidden note to a roommate left under a keyboard.
The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Police found a photograph of this note. After reading the note, the roommate responded, what? You're joking, right? I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you.
In the text exchange, Robinson's roommate asks him why he did it, to which he replied, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out."
Joe Rogan even weighed in on the shooting, and he came to the same shocking conclusion. How could a man with zero prior shooting experience pick up a World War II-era firearm and make a shot that precise? It doesn't line up with the official story. Not even close.
Father's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait. Why are you using such an old gun? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, is it possible that an old gun can be that accurate? If you have a gunsmith and they work on it, yeah, it's totally possible. You have a really good gunsmith and he sets. If you're like a nostalgic person, you like driving an old car, you could bring it to a mechanic. They could redo the brakes.
Sure.
So if you got a good gunsmith and he took a look at that and the action was true and the bore is good, yeah, you could conceivably shoot with a gun for hundreds of years, right? Guns don't necessarily go bad.
Right, they don't expire.
Right, especially because all the stuff like the trigger and the action and all that different stuff is replaceable. So you can just it's compartmentalized. It's components. That's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the fuck up. Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit. Not going to fit. And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof? What? What's that about?
Is that what they pitched, huh?
Yeah. And then he's supposed to get it in that stupid fucking backpack. It's literally, it makes no sense.
And the elevator music was a nice touch, by the way.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
So this is...
Interestingly, in the months leading up to his death, Charlie laid out a kind of blueprint for how an assassination should be investigated. And in that blueprint, he pointed to the very nation that many in this story now believe could be involved. During the final year of his life, Charlie was shifting further and further into an America First mindset. He openly questioned U.S. foreign spending and pushed back against the billions flowing overseas, especially to Israel. Just a month before he died, he told Megyn Kelly that he felt pressure from certain donors, describing how dangerous it felt to even approach certain topics. He said he was walking through a political minefield, trying to balance the expectations of his donors with the demands of his audience. In hindsight, his words sound less like commentary and more like a warning.
Kind of crazy. Charlie Kirk, before he died, literally gave us the blueprint of how to go about investigating his death.
I think the best reading of what happened there is who wanted JFK dead the most. Again, a lot of people said Israel wanted JFK dead. I'd love to hear that argument. But definitely Lyndon Baines Johnson and parts of our own government, and the Cubans wanted him dead. And who actually made it happen? There were like 15 or 20 things that happened that day that were inexcusable. They changed the parade route. He rode in an open-air convertible. LBJ decided not to ride alongside of him. The vehicle slowed down right when it went by. The Texas School Book Depository. A lot there, right? And then, again, I think that all of us are smarter to believe that it was simply Lee Harvey Oswald.
To Charlie Kirk's point, right? There's clearly weird things, oddities that happened on that day, similar to what happened to JFK, right?
One user on X summed it up perfectly. Charlie's life proved a simple truth: the corrupt fear virtue. They mocked his hope, despised his faith, and hated his generosity. He embodied everything their shadowy empire could never become. And that's why he had to be stopped. God bless the Kirk family, and God bless this country. Charlie foresaw what was coming. He left warnings. He left a roadmap. But even now, the biggest questions remain unanswered because some truths take time to surface, and some betrayals are buried so deep they may never be uncovered. If you want to explore the secrets behind Turning Point USA and the events leading to Charlie's assassination, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow along as we reveal this story step by step.